to end the regular season undefeated. This week going to UTEP. Can you talk to us a little bit about that game and how it prepared you for next week's conference championship game?
Yeah, anytime you go on the road, especially in this league, I think it's challenging. We got a long flight out there, 2-hour time difference, so there's a lot of different challenges I think for us going out there, and then let alone them. They got good players. I know their record doesn't state that, but they played Arizona, they played ULV, they played Northwestern. That's 3 bowl teams from an out-of-conference standpoint that they've played, and obviously then they're a conference, and so they're a talented group. Very big on the offensive line. They're going to try to run it down our throats, and so we got something we have to prepare for there. And then they're talented on defense, and they've played teams that run similar schemes, so they're going to have opportunity to know what they want to do against us to try to stop us and slow us down. So we got to be ready to go. More for us, and our challenge is: can we continue as our team? Can we continue to stay hungry and not look ahead and stay in the moment? I think that's always the challenge as you get later in the season when you do have another game guaranteed, and you're one of only 2 of your conference that has that. Is our motivation for that week? Are we locked in on performing our best that week, or looking ahead? Because if we get caught looking ahead, then we'll get beat, and then everybody's going on that undefeated talk. So we got to do a good job mindset-wise. Our players be ready to go.
You mentioned the long trip. How much does that change preparation as far as travel arrangements or anything like that? You typically fly out late on Friday. Is that still the plan? And with the time change, does that change anything as far as game prep?
No, we'll leave earlier just because of the time. It's a 2-hour time difference. It's a 4-hour flight, and so we'll definitely leave earlier. We'll practice Friday morning here, and then leave out at 2:00 maybe. Get out there about 4:30, and then start our process. Because it's an early kick, we'll do most of our video and all the meeting stuff on Friday. Later kicks you do it on Saturday, so we need to get out there in enough time to get all that done. And so it is a little challenging just to change your I don't want to say change your schedule, but get your players into a different routine. We're used to doing an 8:30 chapel on Friday night. We can't do it at 6:30 out there, or 8:30 out there because it's 10:30. So we got to figure out how that works there, but it won't be a problem. We got to figure it out.
It's hard to complain when you score, the first 5 possessions or whatever. But as you take a look at the second half, the last couple of weeks, is there what level of concern is there for how you guys have played offensively in the second half?
Well, I don't think we've executed with the same intensity. And you look, some of that, if you go back a couple of weeks, some of that was maybe playing a little bit more conservative because of the lead, and not being as aggressive. So that's partly on me. Then you turn the ball over, and so that's on us there. And so there's some things there, I think, just from an intensity of focus of your execution that you're disappointed in. And then also too, we're letting some other guys play as well in the fourth quarter, and so people don't look at those things, but our job here is to develop and get guys ready. And so you want those guys to score. We had a chance last week and went for it on 4th down and didn't. So there's a little mix of both of that. But I think in the third quarter specifically, especially this last game, we get a turnover and we go, miss a field goal, and we did a good job of calm plays there. We did a good job of executing the ones we did. And so there is, I don't want to say I'm concerned, but we've got to, if we're up 35-5 or 10, whatever it was, I'll take it. Obviously in the first half, but we got to be able to execute through 4 quarters, and I think our offense knows that, and we got to do a better job.
With something we talked about coming into the month of November was the last couple of years in this team, and you weren't here for it, obviously, but a lot of these players were. The narrative of not finishing strong, and these last couple of weeks, your team has shown up, and it seems like blocked out whatever distractions and gone out and executed the game plan. How have you approached these last couple of weeks with your team, and how have they responded to it?
Well, we talked a lot, especially when we got in November. November's for champions, and meaning your mindset. And you get into October, you're a contender. November is going to determine whether you're a champion or not. And our guys knew the narrative. I brought it up, even though I'm part of it now. That we hadn't, for whatever reason, finished strong in the month of November the last 2 years. I think we were 1-6 in the month of November last year. So we talked a lot about that. That we control how we prepare, we control how we practice, and we control obviously how we're going to play. And so I've not brought it up since then, since whenever November was here, I guess 3 weeks ago. But we did talk about it, and that we're gonna set the standard for who we are going to be in the month of November. You should be playing your best football, and I think we are. I think we're getting closer and closer to playing that best game. But it's important that we play well all the time, right? But especially in November when there's so many different things that are going on, you want to go lock in and handle your business. And to our credit, that's not anything the coaches have done. I believe it's our players, especially the ones that have played a lot, that have been here, knowing they know why they were 1-6. They understand. Even though I wasn't here, they tell me, and so hey, we're going to do this because this didn't work, and this is how it's going to be, and they've done a good job of that.
A lot of people see that 11-0, but then they knock the strength of schedule. How much does it help when a New Mexico State goes into Auburn, not only for you guys but the conference as well?
Well, I think it is big. We do. The narrative nationally is, hey, your conference is not this, not that. And we've got, obviously ourselves at Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky's bowl eligible now, and then you look obviously New Mexico State. Their playing is probably as good as anybody in the country. And our league is tough from top to bottom, and I think there's anybody could beat anybody every week, and I think that shows you what New Mexico State's doing, how they can go in there, and it wasn't a close game. I mean, they dominated, and what I hope happens is people start taking our league serious. That hey, are we where we want to be? No, but everybody's committed in this conference to being really good, and I think that's shown. FIU played Arkansas pretty well. That game was close for a long time, and so there's good coaches, there's good players here, but I think what they did helps our league in general going. They're obviously a really good team in Mexico, but that shows that there's good players, good football in this league, and that win, what they were able to do, will help set up this conference for a long time from a respect standpoint.
Have you gotten a final answer as far as conference championship game and bowl game counting against four games for a player's eligibility and redshirt status, and then in conjunction with that, how close is Vaughn and Blue to being ready to play?
So the championship game, bowl game do not count as far as your four. So anybody that's played up to their four, if they're need to be used in those games, they can be not counted against them. And so Vaughn is getting closer and closer. We're hoping that he has a chance to maybe play this week. We'll see how practice goes. He's back healthy, and now it's just can he take the hits? Can he do some of those things? Because he had obviously a shoulder injury, and so we're crossing our fingers, hoping that he'd be ready to go for this week. But he is back where he's practicing.
Let's go, Hank from the Associated Press online. Hank, go ahead.
How you doing, Hank?
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. So it seems like the leap from 11-0 to 12-0 can be challenging, especially the way you guys have won the last couple of weeks. How do you manage that to make sure that you guys don't think you roll the ball out and you win?
Well, I think that's always a challenge, Hank. And what we build our foundation on here is that we're not playing for necessarily the victory. Yes, we want the victory, but it's more so we're playing for the guy beside us. And every time that we're playing for that guy beside us, we should play our best. And that's been the mentality all year long. We've never talked about going undefeated in the regular season. We've never talked about actually, being a conference champion. Yes, we know those are things that are out there that we want, but we really work hard on the purpose of why we're playing. Purpose is one of our values, Hank. We talk about all the time. You're playing for the guy beside you. Y'all sacrifice all off season for 12 guaranteed opportunities, and we have an opportunity to finish those 12 games that were guaranteed undefeated. And so I believe our team knows the importance of it. Obviously, there's distractions that are going on, and the travel with Thanksgiving. There's a lot of things that can take us away, but we know we got to be locked in for that. And so I expect our team to go play well because. Yes, we're playing for the win, but more importantly, we're playing for the man beside.
And 12-0, 13-0, if you beat New Mexico State in the championship game, how much do you pay attention to Tulane and Toledo and how they're doing, and maybe you guys could be that January 6th game?
I'm aware of it. I'm not necessarily paying attention all the time, but I'm obviously, during the week, if you're done with your stuff and there's a MAC action game on, you can see that during the week and who's playing. And we played Bowling Green and Buffalo earlier, so we're familiar with, you know, the teams there. And then, you know, when I check the scoreboards and I see if it's a Tulane or whoever, you know, because I enjoy college football, and so I'm aware of it, but I'm not studied it to where, well, their schedule's this and their schedule. I don't know any of those things. And what I tell our team is, and we've not talked a lot about that as far as what's out there. I just tell them we got to handle what's in front of us, and that you hope what you do. And if you handle that business, then I'll find every talking point possible. I can promise you that. If we handle our business, to defend our team, defend our conference, you know, to the people that needs to be defended to.
And one more, if I could. You guys were ranked 25th, and you stayed 25th the next week. Do you feel like voters maybe have a reluctance in believing in you guys, maybe from the conference or whatever?
You know, I think there is and you use the word respect, maybe, that, or a lack of it from the standpoint. Typically, if you win, you're in the top 25 and somebody loses in front of you, just naturally people move forward. You know, I bet you if you go back and look the last few years, that's probably never happened in the history. We're probably the first one that's ever happened to, that somebody didn't move after it's not like we won by 1 point, you know, we won by a lot. And so I think there is a lack of respect. Maybe it is for the conference or what they deem our schedule. You know, I know the narrative. But also, I think if you look at some of the teams in our league and who they played, who they've beaten, and who we've played, who we've beaten out of conference, and obviously in conference, I think it stacks up. And so maybe as we continue to go, this, you know, our conference will get more recognized, that we're not just the worst conference in the history of football, that there's actually good players here, you know, and good coaches. And so I believe that. And I mean, if you look at the coaches that are in this league, I mean, they've all done well at prior places. They've been at high-level places from NFL on down. They've won a lot of places. And we might not be conference-wise recognized because of what happened, who we lost. But the people we gained, you know, have brought and the coaches that they've brought challenging teams. They've brought great coaching ability. And this league is going to be really, really good. I believe that. I've been in the Sun Belt when it was in its infancy and everybody thought it wasn't that good. And you can see what people view that now. We're in the same place right now. This conference will be really good and get recognized, and we just need people to, you know, start taking more look at it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, is there anything with UTEP that jumps out to you on tape? I mean, the program doesn't have any familiarity with them. I don't know how much familiarity you have with them or Dan and Demmel. I mean, what kind of jumps out to you?
I think offensively, they're huge up front, offensive line-wise. And I mean, they're going to get in, not to get technical, but they're going to get 2 tight ends and 2 running backs, and they're going to try to run it down our throat. Nobody does that. And so they're very big and physical from an offensive standpoint. We don't see that, and that's going to be a huge challenge for us from that standpoint. And then defensively, they got a lot of older guys, very aggressive. They've got actually like 2 of the highest rated guys. If you get graded, it's called PFF. You get graded like the 2 highest graded guys in defense in the conference. So they got some really good players. They're very aggressive, and so you know, I don't know much about anybody else as far as on who, you know, staff wise and all that. Obviously not coached against anybody from that standpoint, but I know this, that we're trying to be undefeated. They're trying to make a season, and we're going to get their best shot. And if we're not ready to give our best shot, then we're going to come home with a loss. I believe that we can't roll the ball out and beat anybody. We have to prepare well. And if we go out there with that mindset, we'll come back with a loss, and then this will, you know, everybody will be, what happened to you next week? You know, so we got to go play.
You just take me into what was going through your mind when Caden Salter was going head over heels in like a 4-score game into the end zone. Like what goes through a guy's mind in that?
Well, first of all, we told him. Here's what, Justin, we told him before he went out there, run out of bounds. Run out of bounds. No matter what happens, run out of bounds. He's a competitor. He obviously thinks he can, you know, what makes him really good is he thinks he can score and do everything every time, you know, and then you do that and you just realize how valuable you are. And, you know, especially in a game on, what was the score, 42-10 or whatever it was, just run out of bounds. You know, and we'll snap it again. We got good running backs. So, but he's growing and he's learning. You know, I mean, it'd been different. It was the 1-yard line. He tried it from looked like he was trying Michael Jordan from the free throw line. You know? So he did it from the 5-yard line. So anyway, I think it's okay. Last one.
Thanksgiving this week, kids out of class. Anything special you guys are doing to celebrate?
Yeah, we're practicing. So, I mean, we'll do something Thursday, you know, we'll obviously celebrate that. We'll have practice Thursday morning, and then we'll have a family Thanksgiving with our players and any of our family members and all that, and settle down. And then we'll let our non-travel men that don't travel for the game, let them go home for a few days, and then you know, we'll get ready to go. Coaches will have players over their house on Thursday night and different things, and we'll practice Friday morning and stuff. So we're, I believe this team more than anybody, very routine based, and we try to keep them in a very similar routine. I broke that routine earlier in the year, and it was like the worst practices we've ever had. So I learned that like they need to be routine based, and so which makes me nervous because they don't have classes to go to. So we're actually having study hall. We've had study hall yesterday. We'll have study hall the other day. People still call it study hall in 2023, but whatever. So we start having that just to try to keep them as much routine that they're used to. And, but we will use this time like yesterday. You know, it is the week of being thankful. You know, what are you grateful for? We will have, you know, we talk a lot about that and who you're grateful for because it is always the time of reflection.